It seems the Broncos should be getting coal in their stocking, but can they make a huge comeback in the second half? I don't know. Welcome into Halftime Chill. We've got Will Peterson, James Merlott, Rachel hanging out with you as the Broncos are down 31-6 against the Rams in LA. You guys, we've been joking for the last couple of weeks that we could pre-record this and play it from all of our other shows because it's the same old thing. No, this is looking a lot worse and it's kind of one of those places where you're like at a loss of words because you're like, oh, they're starting to figure things out. Brett Rippon looked good, so the offense may have started figuring it out. And then Russ goes and throws 2 interceptions, and then you're like, oh, and then you're watching the defense go from, oh, this has been a really solid defense all year to now they're thinking 1, 2, 3 Cancun pretty dang fast. I know I just kind of spilled a lot, but Will Peterson, how are you? Happy Merry Christmas. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. I think the only thing uglier than my sweater is this Broncos game. It's been just pitiful. I mean, the Rams guys are just as decimated by injuries as the Broncos. There's no Cooper Kupp. There's no Matthew Stafford. There's no Aaron Donald. They're not the Super Bowl champions. They're a 4-10 bad team just like Denver, yet they decided they wanted to show up today. And it's just the epitome of Sean McVay, a good NFL coach, deciding, you know what, I'm going to run circles around a terrible NFL head coach, an awful NFL head coach, in Nathaniel Hackett. It's embarrassing that he hadn't been fired to this point. I don't know if he'll get fired tomorrow, but this seals his fate at least, that he'll be fired at the end of the year. So maybe that's the only piece of good news. But the Broncos, they have the stage to themselves right now. This is another national TV meltdown, and it's kind of a shame to be a Broncos fan right now. Like I'm embarrassed to be a Broncos fan right now.
Guys, you're looking at this all wrong. This is a gift. It's a gift because they had the moral victory 2 weeks ago. Then they beat Trace McSorley, and it's like, oh, hey, maybe they're turning things around, right? And there were the rumors, there were the whispers that Nathaniel Hackett would be back if he could win today, if he could beat the Chargers, and then just kind of hang in there next week against the Chiefs. They might bring this all back. Nope, not anymore. You can't possibly keep Nathaniel Hackett after this debacle. You were down 31-3 at one point in the first half against a team that averages 16 points a game. I mean, this is beyond embarrassing. So if Greg Penner doesn't fire Nathaniel Hackett after this game, then Broncos fans should give up hope. There's no reason to have any faith in this organization if they don't make a move after this. And you know what? This is so bad. They're going to have to make a move. They're not going to talk themselves into another year of Peyton, Hackett, and Wilson. This is the best gift you got today, better than anything you got under the tree, because the Broncos are going to have to move on from Nathaniel Hackett after this one.
It's always that one thing of, oh, if you shift your mindset, right, you can find the good in something. And James, I definitely see your point, but it still stings. And is there any point besides making a point to firing Nathaniel Hackett possibly by tomorrow morning, or just waiting until the end of the season?
No, if you fire him the last 2 weeks of the year, you can get a jump on the interview process. You can start looking at other coaches that are out there. So there's no reason not to, right? Like, you have 2 games to go. At this point, you'll be 4-11. Every time you're on a national stage, you get embarrassed. Like, not just play bad, not just have a heartbreaker. They get embarrassed. Even when they won a game against the 49ers on national TV, it was embarrassing. So, no, there's no reason not to make the move tomorrow. None. Other than there's nobody on the team to turn it over to. Like, Ejiro Evero, his defense today, 5 drives. Field goal, touchdown, 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 touchdown. They haven't been any better either. Like, the offense has been bad. Russell Wilson has been terrible. The special team's the only group that showed up today. But, no, there's all sorts of reasons to make the move now. Get a jump on it. Let's go. George Paton should help. They should let George Paton help Nathaniel Hackett pack his box and then give him the leftover boxes and tell him to pack up his crap and get out too.
We're going to get into Russell Wilson, but can you really blame the defense all that much when you watch your quarterback go out and throw 2 picks in the first few drives and you're just like, what am I playing for at this point besides maybe your job if you know that you're not coming back next year, Will?
Yeah, but they didn't show up on the first drive either, right? They only got lucky because the Rams did a false start and then snapped the ball over Baker Mayfield's head. This was a defense that looked like they'd rather be any place on earth but Los Angeles today. And guys, that whole BS narrative, oh, they're still playing hard for Hackett. Well, that's dead because this defense isn't playing hard at all. There's a lot of business decisions being made, a huge lack of effort. And Josie Jewell being a Pro Bowl snub? Are you kidding me? Josie Jewell couldn't tackle a high school player today. He looked so lost out there. How much milk and cookies did he have last night? So, no, I mean, the Broncos, the BS that, oh, they still care about Hackett and they still like Hackett. They are so checked out and so mailed in, and it started from drive number 1.
Yeah, but guys, earlier this week, Nathaniel Hackett was asked about playing on Christmas, and he acted like it was the biggest inconvenience in the world of like, oh my God, yeah, it sucks, but somebody's got to play, so I guess we'll show up, right? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that was essentially his attitude, and his team is playing like that. Like, they would rather be anywhere else. Like, I get it. Listen, would all of us have liked to not do this halftime show today on Christmas? Of course, but the Broncos are playing, so you show up, you wear your great Christmas gear, you're ready to go, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you turn in a performance that's worthy of the job. The Broncos haven't done that, and it's set with their head coach. But the same guy who said, I hate preseason. Oh, so when you go up to Buffalo and get beat 47-10 or whatever that was, that looked like a team that their coach hates preseason. This guy's like afraid of work. Hey, 2 out of every 3 practices, we're going to take it off. Let's have a field day. You know what? We won against Jacksonville and London. Let's not do anything during the bye week. Even though we can work a couple of days, let's take it off. Oh, Thanksgiving? No, let's take that off. We'll change our whole schedule. Now we got to work Christmas. It is the laziest, just don't have any interest in doing their job group that I've ever seen. Fire them all the minute you land in Denver. I think anything short of that is inexcusable, and Broncos country should be furious. This is just, to say it's unacceptable is just not, that's just putting it mildly.
It's so embarrassing, which leads to the question, is Nathaniel Hackett the worst coach in Denver Broncos history? And I'm asking this to the comments too, and Will, I'll let you answer first.
Well, I conducted the poll on Twitter after the Raiders OT meltdown and said, who's the worst coach in this? I went this millennium just because I wasn't going to go all the way back, but I gave McDaniels, Vance Joseph, Vic Fangio, and Nathaniel Hackett as the 4 options. It got 2,600 votes, and Hackett got 50% of them. Guys, that was more than a month ago at this point. That was before getting down 27-0 to the Chiefs. That was before getting down 31-3 to the Rams. Apologies to Josh McDaniels, or maybe not apologies to Josh McDaniels, but Josh McDaniels is getting a pass here. I dislike Nathaniel Hackett more than I dislike Josh McDaniels. Nathaniel Hackett, the worst head coach in Denver Broncos history.
I don't even think it's close. I think he's by far, and he's going to be the first one and done, at least in the modern era. Look, Vic Fangio drove me crazy, but at least for the most part, they were in the games. Josh McDaniels had all sorts of issues, but he started 6-0. They went 8-8. And again, they were usually in the games. It, to me, is a battle between VJ and Nathaniel Hackett, 2 guys who were too nice for their own good, neither one of which was qualified to be the boss, right? They're just one of the guys. And it was a different kind of embarrassment on a weekly basis. VJ probably is worse because he got a shot to fix it and couldn't do it. But Nathaniel Hackett, he's right there. Like, I think he's the worst. Nothing has improved. Nothing has got better. But VJ did it for 2 years. So maybe in some people's mind that makes him the worst. But this is, Nathaniel Hackett is so in over his head, does nothing well. Nothing has improved throughout the season. And you have the minions in this town want to tell you, oh, after they're down 27-0 to the Chiefs and Travis Kelce's laughing on the bench, they kind of got back in that game and made it interesting. That's some sort of a win. And then they score 17 points, get a 5-yard touchdown drive to make it 24 and beat Trace McSorley last week. Like, that's some sort of accomplishment. That's almost as embarrassing as Nathaniel Hackett is that people in this town with a straight face were trying to spin that Nathaniel Hackett should be back. Nope. John Elway knew he should have fired VJ after year 1. The same exact situation this year. You need to fire Nathaniel Hackett. Don't talk yourself into bringing him back. No way.
Well, James and I have been on the Russell Wilson is not problem number one train for quite a bit. And I guess, Will, you're also on that train because you believe Hackett's number one. But you guys, looking at the way Russ has played today, can we, with a straight face, say that Russell Wilson is not a problem with this team, James?
No, we can't say that. He's a huge problem. I just don't like the look in his eyes. He just doesn't seem like he is engaged, that he is confident. He looks like a guy that's shell-shocked. He doesn't look like the same player. Now, I don't like that, Cortland Sutton hasn't played in 3 weeks? They come out the first 2 plays, go to Cortland Sutton. Terrible idea. He didn't get any separation on the first play. Second play, I don't know what he's thinking there. So do I think he's the main problem? No. I've always said he's a problem, but I put him at the bottom of the list. I'm not sure he's at the bottom of the list anymore. He's a mess. He is just a mess. He needs to lose 15 pounds. He needs to get re-engaged in what's going on. And he needs to have a boss who tells him this is how things are going to work. And you're not in charge anymore. Because right now, you're a subpar quarterback. He is. He was awful. He's been awful today. Just awful.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to defend Russ, but this team is so bad that he feels like he has to play hero ball, right? You look at the first interception, we finally get a Jim Nantz, Tony Romo game, and Tony Romo immediately points out Eric Saubert is open for a first down, and Russ throws it into triple, quadruple coverage to Cortland Sutton. So, yeah, that's on Russ for not taking the safe play. But, guys, this team is so bad that he feels like he has to be this hero and this home run guy, and he doesn't have that anymore, and he's not willing to adjust his game yet. So, yeah, the Broncos need to work on Russ. But like it or not, Russ is going to be here. So I'm with James. The next coach needs to get in Russ's head, treat him like a boss, and tell him, you're 34 years old now. You're going to adjust your game, and you can still play in this league. And example number one would be the one I just gave you guys. You can't go to Sutton in quadruple coverage when you've got Saubert for an easy first down.
Yeah, but again, it's all about coaching, though. Look what Baker Mayfield's doing with Sean McVay.
Yep.
I mean, he looks like a Pro Bowler against what up until now had been a very good defense. So a lot of it is about coaching, putting you in the right spot, setting you up for success. It's like raising kids. Like, turn them loose, and then you can't figure out why they're burning the house down. Like, at some point, you got to establish some rules. You got to be the parent. Nathaniel Hackett is just not interested in doing that at all. So, yeah, Russ has been bad, and he doesn't deserve a free pass, but he still is nowhere near the top of the list. Nowhere near.
It's never going to happen. But say Russ goes out and he throws 2 more interceptions. That's possible. Should they put Brett Rippon in? I can't believe we're having these conversations. Like, this is even something we've been talking about. But truthfully, he looked a lot better than Russ has looked last week. And I know the Cardinals are probably a worse team than the Rams, but he made this team look a lot better. He was able to run this offense a lot better, Will.
I mean, you're down 25. If you don't score on your first drive in the third quarter, what's the point, right? The only way you're getting back in this game is if you go get 7. That third quarter is just about to begin. But if they don't go and get a touchdown, Rachel, then yeah, I'd bench him. I don't see the point.
James?
Yeah, well, what's the point, though? It's not going to solve it, right? Brett Rippon's not going to bring him back from 31-6 down. The problem with last week and this week, they stuck to a plan with Brett Rippon. They didn't feel like they had to force the issue, right? And it was, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball, and then we're going to let him make some plays off of that. They come out today, first play, let's go deep. Third play, we're going to run this crossing route, on 3rd and 9, because they were behind the sticks immediately. It's how they call the game with Russ. And is that Hackett? Is it Kubiak? Is it Russ? None of us know for sure, but it's not going to solve anything. But maybe you send the message to Russ of like, your butt's going to sit on the bench. You're playing terrible. You're going to sit over here, and maybe you'll get to play next week. Maybe. I mean, it sends a bit of a message, but it's not going to solve anything.
It does send a huge message. Bring in some competition for him in the offseason, too. There's plenty more to talk about, but again, the game is back on. Enjoyed, everyone. Come hang out with us during post-game live. It'll be myself, D-Mac, and James, and we will see everybody then. Bye, everyone.